Good evening and welcome to this edition of the Evening News for today, Friday, May 17, 2024. I am Jemima Holmes. Thank you for tuning in. In the headlines this evening, Guyana notifies allies of Venezuela's threatening posture at border. SKELDON sugar estate will be reopened as 5,000 hectares of sugarcane to be cultivated, says President Ali. The NCR's Biennial Congress set for June 28 to 30. AFC to hold 8th Biannual Conference on June 29. Protectionism is not in region's interest, says Finance Minister on TT rejection of Guyanese goods. NRSC advocates for stricter penalties for repeat offenders. Now for the news in detail. Vice President Barajagdio on Thursday stated that the government of Guyana has informed all relevant international bodies, allies, and other partners about Venezuela's threatening actions at its border. Here are the details in this report.
It was recently reported that Venezuela's National Armed Forces has built a bridge connecting Venezuela and Ancoko Island in Cayuny River as it allegedly advances towards Guyana's Essequibo region. Ancoko Island is shared by the two countries, with each owning half, but Venezuela illegally took over the entire island and also established a military base in 1966 after Guyana gained independence. On this issue, the Vice President stated that the government of Guyana has informed the relevant authorities about the continued threats by Venezuela to invade Guyana's border.
We have made it clear, and the relevant bodies have been written to, consistent with the Argyle Agreement and the provisional measures announced by the ICJ. We have notified all of the relevant partners, both of a multilateral and bilateral nature, about the continued attempts by Venezuela to build up a presence at our border in a threatening posture, and that it's inconsistent with what we agreed to, which is that we want to keep this region as a zone of peace.
He nevertheless stated that the government will remain vigilant.
We're very vigilant. We're very vigilant. We're watching the developments. We've been working with our allies on this matter, and our primary preoccupation is the retention of our territorial integrity and sovereignty.
He also referenced to the joint declaration of the Argyle for Dialogue and Peace signed between the two countries in December 2023, which state inter alia that they would not threaten or use force against each other. The presidents of both countries have also engaged each other, hoping to advance bilateral relations outside of the substantive border controversy. Only recently, former Colombian President Iván Duque said that the international community would not allow Venezuela to act in its illegal and baseless ambitions for Guyana's territory, but would rather respond strongly to any use of force against Guyana. Guyana maintains that if Venezuela wants to contest the territory in question, the proper forum is the ICJ, which will decide the issue objectively and according to the law. Bisham Mohammed, The Evening News.
We're now joined by Gerald Bryan, who reports that Finance Minister Dr. Ashy Singh made it clear that the recent actions of Trinidad and Tobago are very concerning and that protectionism and isolationism are in nobody's interest.
In the wake of the refusal by Trinidad and Tobago TNT authorities to admit $20 million worth of milk exports from Guyana, there has been much criticism over this flouting of regional integration. In an exclusive interview with this newscast, Finance Minister Dr. Ashy Singh spoke about the development.
Isolationism and protectionism are not in anybody's interest. They're not in Guyana's interest. They're not in Trinidad's interest. They're not in Jamaica's interest. They're not in Barbados' interest. They're certainly not in Grenada or St. Vincent's interest. Protectionism and isolationism are not in anybody's interest. And we feel that strongly and firmly in Guyana. And that is why we are as committed as we are to the regional integration movement.
According to Dr. Singh, Guyana wants to be a part of a more integrated Caribbean. However, there should also be more reciprocity when it comes to trade in the region. He pointed out that Guyana is not in the habit of turning away goods from other countries.
And we don't believe that any regional authority should be turning away products, recklessly or capriciously. And I'm not suggesting that that is what happened in this instance. But we believe that all of our regional administrations should work to promote intra-regional trade and to dismantle sanitary and phytosanitary barriers.
Ultimately, Dr. Singh noted that the government continues to engage the Trinidadians on the matter and further fully supports Demerara Distillers Limited. He further urged other regional authorities to work with companies in the region to facilitate regional trade.
We will continue. We have had good discussions with the Trinidadian authorities, and we will continue to have those discussions. DDL itself is a company that is quite capable of complying with every international standard that you can imagine, and they're quite capable of representing themselves. But as a Guyanese company, they have the support of the government of Guyana, because we want all Guyanese manufacturers to be able to penetrate markets elsewhere.
Joe O'Brien, The Evening News.
Here is Andrew Carmichael to tell us that President Dr. Irfan Ali on Thursday committed to residents of SKELDON that the sugar estate will be reopened, as 5,000 hectares of sugarcane are projected to be cultivated within the community.
The head of state led the outreach to the community following a request by residents who attended the People's Progressive Party's Congress 2 weeks ago in Georgetown. During his engagement, President Ali addressed the issue of sugar, pointing out that the sugar industry is currently being rebuilt. He said his government is currently in discussion with members of the Cane Farmers Association, who have 900 acres of land.
Most of them wanted to go into corn, beans, red beans, and black eye. Those were the farmers. We are working with them there, because part of what we want to do also is to become self-sufficient in corn, soya, black eye, and red beans, to the extent that we can now also export and satisfy the whole Caribbean needs.
He added that while there are plans to reopen the factory, there are some hurdles that have to be crossed.
We agree that there are challenges, but we are working on that. Outside of that, we have the Rosal that was reopened. Rosal was scrapped. We have brought back Rosal, brought back all those jobs at Rosal. And if there are workers here who right now are looking for jobs, we're looking for them. Right now we need workers. We're not getting workers to come in that we need. That is why we have to expedite the mechanization of the industry, because we're not getting the workers that we need. As I said earlier, we are now working on SKELDON. We're mechanizing 5,000 hectares of land right here in SKELDON to put back that 5,000 hectares into production.
However, workers have expressed concern over the extra work they have been asked to perform without adequate compensation. On this note, the President instructed Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa to meet with the aggrieved sugar workers to have the matter rectified. In addition, the President also met with residents of Crabwood Creek, where he highlighted that despite the massive development across the country, there is still a need to focus on community matters. Meanwhile, Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa, who accompanied the President and also addressed the residents, said that all the canals have been cleared as the ministry takes precaution against flooding during the current rainy season. He noted that his ministry has been working with cash crop farmers to provide needed assistance. He added that some $25 million has been allocated to the Crabwood Creek Water Users Association.
We ask them to ensure that the farmers who are the beneficiaries and the villagers benefit from these works. Also, besides that, as I'm speaking now, we have almost 4 machines in Crabwood Creek and a surrounding area working to clean these communities, working to continue the silting of canals.
Andrew Carmichael, The Evening News.
The People's National Congress Reform is set to host its 22nd Biennial Delegates Congress and elections from June 28 to 30, 2024 under the theme Forming the Next Government, Building a Just, Inclusive and Prosperous Society for All. More in this Michael Henry report.
Leader of the party, Aubrey Norton, made the announcement on Friday during the party's weekly press briefing. The Congress will be held under the theme Forming the Next Government, Building a Just, Inclusive and Prosperous Society for All, which was chosen to reflect the party's determination to return to government in the next general elections.
Was chosen to reflect the party's determination to return to government in the next general elections and to implement its people-centered development strategy. Party delegates and members from all 10 regions will be attending Congress in person. There will be no virtual attendance.
Furthermore, he expressed that this year's Congress is set to be the largest and most important in the party's history.
The 22nd Biennial Delegates Congress is expected to be one of the largest, most spirited, and most important in the party's history. We are looking forward to it.
Norton also touched on some of the topics the executives intend to focus on during the three-day affair.
From a party's perspective, the Congress reviews the state of the party. And that will be done, and every aspect of it will be dealt with. And then it will have the key national issues to deal with, oil and gas, the economy. All of those issues will have to be addressed in the Congress.
Norton will seek re-election as party leader but is expected to be challenged by party executive members Roysdale Ford and Amanda Walton Desir. Both Ford and Walton Desir have indicated their readiness to accept nominations for the post of party leader and other top positions in the party's executive. At the last Congress held in December 2021, Aubrey Norton charged into the leadership position of the party with a landslide victory over Joe Harmon and Dr. Van West Charles. Michael Henry, The Evening News.
Meanwhile, the Alliance for Change has also announced that its 8th biannual conference will be held on June 29, 2024 in Georgetown. The conference is expected to attract approximately 300 delegates and scores of observers, special guests, and invitees. In alignment with the party's commitment to democratic processes and full membership participation, Nomination Day is set for June 12, 2024. Nominations are now open for key leadership positions including leader, chairman, vice chairman, general secretary, and 12 members of the party's National Executive Committee. In addition to these positions, all regional management committee chairpersons will serve on the executive committee, ensuring regional representation. The committee will also include representatives from the party's youth arm, Youths for Change, and its women's arm, Women for Change, reflecting the AFC's long dedication to inclusive leadership. Coming up on the other side of the break, 1/3 of oil revenue allotted to housing over past 3 years, says VP Jagdeo, and NRSC advocates for stricter penalties for repeat offenders. Please stay tuned.
Transitions Light Intelligent Lenses. Pick your color. Choose your style. Available at Optique Vision Care.
What flavors does Oreo have around the world?
Oreo peanut butter.
Let me see. Oreo cajeta.
Here comes Oreo around the world, the promo that takes you on a family trip to taste the Oreo flavors available in Paris, New York, Mexico, or Rome. Register your packages at oreopromo.com.
Guyanese are set to benefit from improved healthcare services countrywide. You will have access to specialized world-class hospitals, well-trained nurses, doctors, and other health professionals. The sum of $129.8 billion Earmarked in Budget 2024 to create a resilient health sector is a mammoth increase from the $90.2 billion budgeted in 2023. Revenues earned from oil production support the fostering of a healthy nation through budgetary support for national development.
Dad! Dad! Is that real? आप लोगों को नजर आ रहे हैं?
Well hit! Away it goes! That is a ridiculous... Oh, look at this!
Premier insurance coverage for less. Stay safe.
Sun or rain? Up or down? No one knows what tomorrow will bring, but with Premier's commercial property insurance, you'll be ready. For all risks insurance, call 223-0840 or visit premierinsurance.gy. Fuel your success. Premier Insurance. Premier insurance coverage.
What flavors does Oreo have around the world?
Oreo peanut butter.
Let me see. Oreo cajeta.
Here comes Oreo around the world, the promo that takes you on a family trip to taste the Oreo flavors available in Paris, New York, Mexico, or Rome. Register your packages at oreopromo.com.
Welcome back. You're watching the Evening News. A bill aimed at bolstering Guyana's ability to implement sea and river defenses and several loan agreements, including with the Export-Import Exim Bank of India for the recent purchase of 2 Dornier aircraft, were the focal points of discussion on Friday when a sitting of the National Assembly was held. Gerald Bryan has the details.
During Friday's sitting of the National Assembly, Minister of Public Works Juan Edgel rose to present the Sea and River Defense Bill. He explained that the bill has been in the making as far back as 2019, when technical work was done to update the existing legislation.
This is something that has been going on for a while, that has moved from one government in office to another government in office. The facts will show that by 2019, with funding from the 11th European Union EDF, a consultancy was engaged, and they essentially worked on updating what was before 2 separate pieces of legislation, Chapter 6401 and Chapter 6402. And bringing that into one legislation and ensuring that the updated version reflects the realities of our current situation.
According to Edgel, the current bill seeks to refine the work on the law that was started and is optimistic that there would be bipartisan support in getting the bill passed.
The vulnerability of Guyana's coastal territory to flooding necessitates the establishment of effective administrative and governance frameworks to ensure integrated and sustainable flood management. In this regard, the government of Guyana, in recognition of the social and economic importance of effective flood management functions and systems in a national context, wishes to introduce new legislation to strengthen the management of Guyana's sea and river defenses.
Meanwhile, Finance Minister Dr. Ashy Singh rose to present several financial agreements to the House. They include a US $150 million conditional line of credit with the Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, for spending in the education sector. Two other IDB contracts, a line of credit of US $90 million financed through the previous agreement, and a revised loan to finance energy diversification. Additionally, there was a line of credit of US $23.3 million from the Indian Exim Bank to procure the two Dornier aircraft that arrived earlier this year. Finally, there was a US $2.5 million line of credit also with the Indian Exim Bank for a solar power plant at the Chedi Jagan International Airport. Jarrell Bryan, The Evening News.
Vice President Barra Jagdeo on Thursday reiterated that 1/3 of the oil revenues are being pumped into the housing sector. He was at the time responding to opposition Member of Parliament Annette Ferguson's proposal to distribute house lots for free. Here are the details.
The opposition MP last week stated that with Guyana now being an oil-producing nation, the government should consider free distribution of house lots for citizens. In this regard, Vice President Dr. Barra Jagdeo delved into some of the housing developments made over the years by the government. Jagdeo underscored that from 2020 to 2024, the PPPC government has allocated a whopping $200 billion towards housing developments, while adding that this was fueled by the oil revenue, including 2024.
We have allocated from 2020 to 2024 about $200 billion for housing development. The $200 billion in the 5 years that we've allocated just for housing development. In the budgets that we've put 3 years budget where we had oil money, almost all of the oil money, we bring in, including this year, it's $600 billion of oil money that we would spend. So on housing alone, 1/3 of all of the oil money is going to subsidize basically people's housing. And that's only on housing development.
Additionally, he noted that the average cost to prepare a house lot is some $5 million.
The high income group, the average price is, so it goes from 1 million and then one area it's 6 million, but the average price is about 3 million. So it's still just about 60%, 60% of the cost of development, and that's high income. At the lower end, it is 1/40 of the cost. So that's the subsidy that people get, and that's the transfer of wealth to people. Because when they get a plot of land now that is valued a minimum of $5 million, because that's what it takes to prepare the land to get there.
Meanwhile, the Vice President also highlighted that from 2020 to date, a total of 33,000 house lots have been completed, and another 7,000 are set to be done before the end of the year, making the total number of house lots developed by the government 40,000. The developments of these house lots are part of the PPPC manifesto, as the government promised to develop a total of 50,000 house lots by 2025. For the Evening News, Kelroy Williams.
Despite increased enforcement and educational efforts, the National Road Safety Council Chairman Earl Lambert has expressed serious concerns over motorists' continued violation of traffic laws. Luanda McAllister reports.
During the televised program Police and You, Chairman of the National Road Safety Council Earl Lambert issued a stern warning to motorists who persist in breaking traffic laws despite heightened enforcement and educational efforts. Lambert emphasized the need for stricter penalties, including the suspension of driver's license, to underscore the seriousness of traffic violations. He highlighted that despite the police and the council's continuous efforts to enhance road safety through education campaigns and increased law enforcement presence, many drivers still flout traffic regulations.
It is amazing that you keep preaching one thing, you keep talking about the 5 C's, but when you look at the way accidents occur, you realize that persons are not really paying attention to the way they should use the road. And I'm saying that to say that it is something that I feel it's being selfish. It's just caring about yourself and not caring about others. So you have, whether it's a vehicle or a motorcycle, and you feel that you can drive anyhow you feel, and there are no consequences. There are going to be consequences.
To combat this ongoing issue, Lambert proposed a more stringent approach, suspending the license of repeat offenders. He urged that this measure would serve as a powerful deterrent. He said that once a motorist receives multiple tickets, they should be informed by police officers about the number of violations remaining before their license will be suspended.
You cannot carry a horse to drink water and make that horse drink. If, for example, someone has committed a traffic offense and they were issued a ticket, the merit system, the point system should be coming into play. So after a given amount of tickets, that person should be told that their license will be suspended and they will have to go back through a retraining as to how they should use the road. And I think if that system starts, we'll be sending a message to a lot of the offenders. Because you see people doing a lot of lawlessness. It's not that the police has to be there on 24/7. You go into the developed countries, you don't see police on a regular basis. But people are towing the line because they know that that license, as Traffic Chief just spoke about, that license either is providing employment for yourself and support for your family.
The chairman's call to action reflects a growing concern over traffic law compliance and the impact of reckless driving on public safety. By pushing for the strict enforcement of existing laws, the National Road Safety Council hopes to reduce the frequency of traffic accidents and ultimately save lives. Lawada McAllister for the Evening News.
The Rotary Club of New Amsterdam and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints have commissioned a $1.6 million clean water project at Overwinning Primary School, Greater New Amsterdam. Details from Andrew Carmichael.
Cheers. It's like diamond or chocolate mist. It's like how water is supposed to taste. Yeah. Probably want to spice.
The project is aimed at producing clean and safe water for students and staff. Almost 200 students will benefit from the project. The Clean Water Project, initiated in 2016 by Rotarian Roger Greenwich, raised concerns about the critical need for clean water at schools. The project focuses on removing impurities from the iron-laced and treated well water by processing it through an advanced filtration system. This effort significantly reduces contamination, ensuring safe drinking water for the school community. President of the New Amsterdam Rotary Club, Rafi Kasim, pointed out that the project was funded entirely by the Church of Latter-day Saints, which has partnered with the club on similar projects over the past 8 years.
If you were to go to New Amsterdam Hospital at the moment, you will see another project ongoing. That project had some hiccups because of the filtration system, but these schools already have the filtration system. There is, what's the name of the, what do you call the setup at the hospital? What do you call those units? Water dispenser units. So we might be coming to you shortly with a proposal.
Public Relations Director for the Church of Latter-day Saints, Attorney at Law Leslie Sobers, explained that it was not just in Guyana that the church has been funding such projects.
The church does not look upon creed, race, religion, or any other affiliation to extend the helping hand. As a matter of fact, we have a yearly activity which carries the slogan, Helping Hand, where we walk into the communities and we do work. So the project that is being closed today is not the only area of assistance that the church extends. Our members do it individually. Our members are also members of other organizations that help other persons, and the church of itself
as is the case today, does this type of work.
Meanwhile, among the other areas of focus for the New Amsterdam Rotary Club are promoting peace, fighting disease, providing clean water and sanitation, hygiene, saving mothers and children, supporting education, and growing local economies. Andrew Carmichael, The Evening News.
With several new schools being constructed throughout Region 1, Housing and Water Minister Colin Crowell has urged parents, especially those in High Marooney, to take full advantage. Michael Henry has more in this report.
The minister was at the time addressing residents of High Marooney where 10 houses were handed over to them. He reported that 3 schools will be constructed throughout the region.
We must all strive to ensure that our children maximize and make use of the educational opportunities that are coming this way. That is why you have the construction of another, 2 secondary schools, 3 secondary schools in Region 1. The only hinterland region that is seeing the simultaneous construction for 3 secondary schools. You have one at Quebana that will target the riverine and nearby communities, because we're dependent on the Santa Rosa, and the student population has outgrown the Santa Rosa Secondary School.
Meanwhile, he also announced that the Education Ministry will soon sign the contract for the construction of a new secondary school at Warramuri.
Very shortly, the Ministry of Education will be signing the contract for the award for the new secondary school to be constructed at Warramuri. And similarly, over at Mabruma sub-region, we have the construction ongoing of the Hosororo Secondary School.
As part of the ministry's plan to equip pupils with knowledge in science and technology, Minister Crowell further added that the new schools will be well equipped with state-of-the-art laboratories.
All these secondary schools that you see are also being equipped with the necessary laboratory facilities so that your children can also embark on subjects that was prohibitive for the hinterland. And I'm speaking of science and technology subjects. Because we want them to make use of the job opportunities that exist in our country.
Michael Henry, The Evening News.
And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Demerara Harbour Bridge will be closed to vehicular traffic on Saturday, May 18, 2024 at 2 hours for 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the Berbury Surfer Bridge is expected to be closed at 12 hours 50 on Saturday, May 18, 2024, also for 1.5 hours.
West Indies to play Australia in a World T20 warm-up game. This and more coming up in the Sportcast, sponsored by MacCorp.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality? Or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Sadco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home, and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store. Located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site Rhymeville.
What flavors does Oreo have around the world?
Oreo peanut butter.
Let me see. Oreo cajeta.
Here comes Oreo around the world, the promo that takes you on a family trip to taste the Oreo flavors available in Paris, New York, Mexico, or Rome. Register your packages at OreoPromo.com.
Johnny?
Well hit. Away it goes. That is a ridiculous. Oh, look at this.
American-made Generac pressure washers from Sylvie's Variety Store give you the power you need to blast away dirt and grime. Providing the perfect cleaning power for any tough jobs around the house or business, from 2,500 to 4,000 PSI. So get the Generac pressure washer today with all the parts and accessories available from Sylvie's Variety Store.
Did you know Guyro's Super 95 gasoline has an octane rating of 95, the highest rating available in Guyana? This premium fuel is known to enhance the performance of your engine, making it run smoother and more efficiently, leading to better fuel economy and improved performance. Choose Super 95 for more mileage and better overall performance.
What flavors does Oreo have around the world?
Oreo peanut butter.
Let me see. Oreo cajeta.
Here comes Oreo around the world, the promo that takes you on a family trip to taste the Oreo flavors available in Paris, New York, Mexico, or Rome. Register your packages